All right, so today we're doing composition functions. And so if you look on Canvas again, you're going to go to Pages, and today is the 7th, 9, composition functions, and then it'll tell you what we're doing. So do now, if you would like extra practice, you want to make sure you go to these IXL assignments. I'm not going to take them for a grade, but it's a great way to study for the test. We're going to watch a quick MC Escher video. He is an artist that uses composition functions to create really cool artwork. You can watch the video, and then you do have another Desmos practice. This is the site you go to, and these are the codes you plug in. And then if you would like some extra credit, there is an extra credit assignment called Gulf Rigid Motion, and this would be your code for that. So that's an overview of today's agenda. Let's go ahead and do some learning. So let's review from yesterday. This is your do now. If you were to translate these points using this rule, please remember that the x coordinate you're going to add 2, and the y coordinate you're going to subtract 5. So you would add 2 minus 5, add 2 minus 5. So your new coordinate m would be at 1, negative 1. And n would be at 2, 4. And if you look at these two pictures, these are kind of examples of what MC Escher videos or pictures kind of look like. You should notice that you can see not only is there a rotation across the x-axis, you can see that this is being flipped down. You should also be able to see a reflection across the y-axis. And so remember, a reflection across the y-axis is negative x comma y. And reflection across the x-axis is x comma negative 1. And over here, what you should see are rotations. So this figure is being rotated. So you want to review your rules for rotations as well. So here is a quick idea of what a composition function is. So previously, we were just talking about one type of transformation, whether it be a rotation or a translation or a reflection. But really in real life, we do a multitude of transformations in one sitting. So MC Escher was one of the most famous graphic artists, and he used transformation functions to make really cool, famous works. So I'll show you a little bit of some of the examples of his work. So you can see here definitely translations and reflections. Here again, you should see translations, reflections, rotations. And here it's really cool. He's using translations, reflections, and rotations to show double images. Because of the symmetry in his patterns and everything, his work kind of turns out looking pretty awesome. Okay, so there would be a great example of a 90-degree rotation. All right, so let's get back to learning. I just kind of want to give you an idea of how you see this. All right. So when you have a composition function, you're going to be performing more than one transformation. Okay. When you see the rule written like this, all right, you're always going to start here and work to the left. So you would do the second transformation first and then the first transformation. Okay, so what does this mean? This little r stands for reflection. So in this case, you're going to reflect across the y equals x line. I'm sorry, y equals 3. So if I have the point 2, 5, which is here, okay, I'm going to reflect across the y equals x line. So remember, y equals 3, is going to be a horizontal line right here where y equals 3. So I'll notice that it's 1, 2 away, so it's going to be 1, 2 away down there. So that's my first transformation. So I'm currently at 2, 1. Then I'm going to reflect it across the y, I think that's x. X equals 4 line. And so remember, when I reflect across x equals 4, I go to my x-axis, and I see that here's where my x-axis is. This is just off. So now I notice that it's 2 away, so I'm going to go 2 away here. So my new, sorry, it should be here, at 6. It's hard for me to see this. So it should be at 6, 1. That's my final location. Now this next example we're going to do is in your packet. And this is actually called a glide reflection. These are very common. Basically, it's when you do a reflection and a translation. So the glide comes from the translation, and the reflection comes from the reflection. Okay. So you're also going to have to know how to write these rules in one. Composition rule in one. So let's go ahead and look at what's happening. So first of all, we're going to sketch the image of, this should say sing. Okay. After a glide reflection. So you should see this at the top of page 13 in your notes. All right. So I'm going to sketch 1, 1, which is here. And then I is at 2, 4. N is at 4, 4. And G is at 5, 5, 2. So there's sing right now. And a little off. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm first going to reflect it across the y-axis. So remember, when I reflect across the y-axis, that's this axis here. And my x-coordinates are going to go negative or opposite what they are, and my y-coordinates are going to stay the same. So I'm basically coming over here to negative 1, 1, negative 2, 4, negative 4, 4, and negative 5, 2. So it should look like the exact same image, just flipped around. So that's the first step. And then the second step is now I'm going to translate it 3 to the right and down 2. So I'm going to take each coordinate and move 1, 2, 3, and down 2. Sorry, 1, 2. So here. 1, 2, 3, and down 2. 1, 2, 3, and down 2. 1, 2, 3, and down 2. So my new image should be here. Okay. Now if I wanted to write a rule, I basically have to combine this rule and this rule together. So when I write my rule for the whole transformation, I know my x is going to be negative, and then I added 3. My y-coordinates stayed the same, but then I subtracted 2. So it should look like that. And that's how you write both rules in one. All right, so two things you're going to need to complete today. You're going to go to student.desmos.com and it should say Des Patterns. This is a little bit challenging, okay, because you're going to have to visualize when you rotate or turn a shape in a pattern, what it looks like. So expect to be a little challenged, but you can do it. It just might be a little challenging. You might have to do a couple assignments. You might have to do a couple pages more than once. And it might take you a little time. So you're going to go there. And then you're going to complete practice 1 through 9, and this is page 13 through 14. Okay, Okay, so those are your 2 practice assignments for today. And then tomorrow we'll go over the answers to page 13 and 14 when you come in, or Monday. We'll go over the answers to page 13 and 14 when you come in. And you're also going to have a quiz on Monday. So your quiz, it's Mastery Quiz 4, is going to be on your rules. Reflection, rotation, and translation rules. Reflect, rotate, and translate rules. Very similar to the practice problems you did in